It always comes to this. Hello there guys, back again to do another tattoo progress update. Where I last left off, I showed off the color in this arm here. It's mostly peeled now. You can see there's still a few spots that are shaken off here, but it healed up about as well as the top. Probably exactly the same realistically. Some of this has still got to go, but it'll be pretty much like that, or like any other yellow in here. It's going to be a few weeks in between my vlog next time and this one, so by the time that one rolls around, you'll be able to see how this thing is settled in. Realistically, in my experience with color and white on black and black on black projects, for the most part, they do what they do. After the first week, they don't really change a whole ton. So realistically, it's not going to be much different, but there you have it. If you're waiting to see what it looks like when it's fully peeled, that'll be the next vlog, and I'll be making that in about a week and a half. I had another session today with Terry. I talked about what we were going to do, so I'll just go ahead and dive into that. Let's see here. We did the second pass on the color, and the first pass on the color in the eye here. So like the center of the eye. So that was freshly done 3 weeks ago, and we want it to be subtle, but the coloration is semi, like it's emulating a portal formation. So again, going with the spacey kind of cosmic horror vibe. We will be doing a second pass on this. The color is essentially done over here now. Once Terry got into it, he thought first he was just going to touch certain parts of it, but then he wanted to do a full redo and make it brighter. To which, for me, like I've said a million times, the first 5 minutes of any session is the worst. So once you're there, and I don't really mind continuing. So I didn't mind doing a full second pass on the color in the eye, and I do think that it's going to make a long-term difference. The colors are much more vibrant now, and I like this eye much more than I did, just recently even. With that said, I did have some skepticism over this myself. I wasn't sure whether it would be a good idea or not, but I like it more already. I think it had the right size there that we could do something cool with it. If it had been thinner, there wouldn't have been much space to use, and it would have been congested. But I think just doing these subtle tones, and obviously we're going to do another pass on them, so it'll be a little less murky. It will be really, really neat, and it should give the whole thing a lot more dimension and pull all of it together a little more. So, but overall, this is my favorite version of the eye by quite a large margin. Honestly, I think it's the best that it's ever looked, and it has the look of the fullness of a multi-layer project that I'm working on. Whereas the other one was a little too flat, like the sunflower eye, as people called it, was a little too flat for me. It was not the context of it being a sunflower that made me do that. I thought that was silly, but it didn't. It obviously, that's not going to be the reason that I spend many hours changing it. It's just, it was out of line with the rest of the direction of things, and I feel like the new cosmic kind of eye is going to match up much more with where this sleeve is going, where my chest piece has gone, and where the future of the tentacles on my torso is going to be, because all of these tentacles that are now white and black on black are going to be done in a similar color scheme to this when Rick and I are finished this sleeve. That is the next project Rick and I will be working on. For anyone that was curious, that didn't know, before anything else happens between Rick and I, we're heading back into the torso project. We'll probably do a quick pass over this guy again and bring him out a little bit more with everything we've learned. Because even though this chest piece is standing out and it's standing the test of time, as time goes on, it's not changing. Especially once we got it to where we wanted it. It didn't really go back from there, so it's safe and we can just enhance it now. I think I'm going to do a pass over all of it, so that'll be either a session or two at the rate that Rick works. But with that said, we're not going to be even talking about that plan for realistically probably the rest of this year and probably half of next year. I think we've got budgeted for this sleeve. I realistically expected this sleeve to take me a year of weekly appointments, maybe a little more, and saying 60 to 80 sessions and then missing the odd week. You're budgeting for a year and a half there. And I think that's totally reasonable. I like getting tattooed anyway. Maybe that wouldn't be reasonable for someone else, but especially given what we're working on and the results we're getting. I'm having a hard time showing my arm off. I can't. Showing sleeves off on video is no good. So anyway, I think it's totally reasonable to expect that we'll be working on my sleeve until at least the middle of next year, and I'm totally fine with that. But by this time next year, I believe my torso will be much more full color. And by the point that we get those tentacles done, I expect that to be 10 to 20 sessions, revamping all that shit. Then Rick and I may take on some smaller projects. I do have some ideas for down the road with Rick, but I don't believe I'll be working on my back piece with Rick. I have a different artist in mind for that, and I'm going to keep that closer to the guard until I get there. I have a really big idea for my back, and I don't think it will disappoint anyone. With that said, taking a week off, so my next sessions I'll be continuing down here with Rick. We'll be doing this chunk probably. So like probably from here to here. Maybe we'll get into this part again. And then hopefully I'll be doing my ear tattoo project with Terry. Now, as I've already talked about, that's going to be a complicated one. And I'm planning on losing some size and some piercings altogether. I'm excited to be going to Kelowna, but I'm also kind of not looking forward to it. I don't like taking time off, not just work, but I'm pretty OCD about this shop and how I run things here. I've been running this shop now for 2 years, and I've kind of turned it around. Like it wasn't sinking, but it wasn't doing great when I got here, and it's doing a lot better than it was. So I'm going to be handling a lot of the management stuff even while I'm in Kelowna. But obviously there will be things that I can't handle from here when I'm in Kelowna. So there'll be, little things that will go wrong that I'll have to fix when I get back, or otherwise we'll just have to wait. So I'm not super looking forward to that part, but I am looking forward to my wife going out to Kelowna to learn to tattoo. When she comes back here, she'll be working on fake skin primarily. Up there, and mostly when she gets back down here for the first few weeks. But she'll be doing her first few freebie tattoos more or less over the next few weeks after we get back. And then the plan is to have her start on here at the shop in January. That could always change. I'm a businessman first when it comes to this stuff. And I won't bring her on if we don't have work for her, as she has a job now that she could essentially keep. If she wants, and just keep working here on the weekends. But long term, I'd like to get her in here full time and have her actually do well as a tattooer. It's just always a thing of like, you don't want people sitting around on their hands either. So has to make sense. The booking has to be there for it to work out, and people have to be moving along. Some of the apprentices here moving on to bigger projects, and then getting her into walk-ins and small script tattoos and fine line things like that. That's always how apprentices start here. So while I am excited to get her going and all that, we have an Airbnb out in Kelowna, and it's going to be like a mini vacation for us because You know, especially me, I'm always working. I rarely take time off. At my old job, I had 10 years without even calling in sick. The first sick day I had in 10 years was when I had an infection in my hand tattoo. I made a whole video about that. That infection probably could have killed me. That took me out for about 2 weeks. But other than that, I basically never took time off. And when I did, it was like, you know, time off for Christmas with the family, a few days or whatever, you know. I'm a workaholic, so being away from my work and my projects and all that, it's tough for me. So, but I'll be busy out there, and I'm sure I'll get into all kinds of cool stuff while I'm up there. Lee is always joking with me that while I'm out there, he's gonna, like, Lee being my old tattoo artist, the guy who blacked out most of my upper body, and he did a lot of my old black and gray portraits and stuff. He did my first back piece. He was also happy to see it go. He wanted to black it out himself years ago, FYI. So no one was upset about that. He's always joking that when I get out there, he's going to teach me to black out. Everyone, for the most part, thinks I'm a tattooer anyway. So it would be a pretty easy sell. Just to have me learn how to saturate well enough to do black work would be, I would be booked for months. There's people who want to travel here to get tattooed by me as is. And I always joke that it would be funny for me to just play it up and they get here and I'm just talking shit and eating apples and they're like, what am I getting tattooed? It's like, no, this is the authentic Remy experience. You came here for me to talk shit and fuck around. The amount of people who don't, you know what? I would blame them for it too, because the amount of people who don't read or pay any sort of attention to captions or watch full videos, you know, if they come all the way here thinking they're going to get a tattoo by me, then they kind of deserve what they get if they haven't read the fine print by now that Remy is not a tattooer. Remy is a collector, or you could say I'm an influencer of some kind. Tattoo personality. With that said, yeah, we're going to be up there we're going up tomorrow, the 4th to the 12th of November. I'll be back at the shop pretty well right away. I am off the day after we get back, but I'll be in here tidying up and straightening shit out. So not too crazy long, but a long time for me. Yeah. Not looking forward to a week off tattoos, but it'll make me miss it a little bit, so that's always good. And it's not too long. I'm not gonna be jonesing for a hit or something like that. It's just I'm in the middle of a lot of really cool projects right now, and when you're doing things that are really exciting, that's when you don't want to take time off. Like I said, when I was building up the black layers on this sleeve, it was like, yeah, sure, we'll miss a week. What the fuck does it matter? Like, it just feels like work. But now we've gotten this kind of to a place where we're just running with it, and I'd love to just keep going, but I gotta take the break. So anyway, I'm not gonna ramble at you guys too long today. I got things to do tonight, and I wasn't sure I'd have time to make this video to begin with. So I will show this off again. It may not look a whole lot different. In this camera right now, it doesn't look much different than it did. Although in person, it looks a lot different. All the colors are more solid. I don't know how that's going to translate. Sometimes I can't see what these things look like until I watch this back. Again, I make all of this with a front-facing iPhone camera and whatever lighting we have at the shop. Same as I've taken to making all of my video content and pictures and stuff outside so that no one can accuse me of a polarized light. One of my next projects right away is going to be getting back into the chest and ribs and stuff. I like the red that we've done, but what that has created is this problem of the red is pretty clear, the red is pretty there, but either the white, black, or, as I've talked about before, light blue needs to be done to contrast the red to make everything stand out a little more. So, because I like the red glow, but I don't think there's enough clarity there. And so something has to be done about that over the next few weeks. So you can wait. You can look forward to, if you care, seeing that come up pretty soon. Again, now that Terry and I have gotten through my enormous black back project, it's all I'm really working on with him right now is refining what I have. I'm not really looking to do anything too new right at this second. It's just about changing what I've got and polishing up what's already there. So you look forward to kind of lots of little tweaks and reworks if you're following this project. That'll mostly be what Terry and I are working on while Rick and I continue working on the left sleeve. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys again when I get back. Have a great day.